Ever wonder why your car may crank for a long time before it starts? So we're looking at right now is a Quadrajet, and I'm just running pump gas, regular 93, and the fuel bowl on these Quadrajets is pretty small before it gets to the inlet. So what happens is I don't have a this fuel pump doesn't drain back to the tank or anything. It's an anti-siphon on there, so I don't have to worry about the fuel draining back to the fuel tank. But that's one concern too. Make sure your fuel pump has that siphon in there, so the anti-siphon, so it doesn't, when you shut the car off, all the fuel doesn't run back to the tank. And when that happens, now you have to crank the engine over for a long time to build that fuel pressure back up to fill the bowls in the carburetor up, and that's why it takes a longer time for it to crank. And you can diagnose that a lot of times by before you, let's just say you let it sit overnight, and so all the fuel drains back to the tank. If you're worried about that, if your pump doesn't have the anti-siphon. But in this case, this Quadrajet, since the fuel bowl is so small, a lot of the fuel evaporates. I guess since the ethanol in this fuel nowadays, it evaporates pretty fast. So if I let it sit for a few days, it may not have any fuel in the fuel bowls to be able to get a shot. The accelerator pump can't pick it up because it's so low. So, like I said, I can diagnose this by letting it sit for a few days and then don't start the car. Take the air cleaner off and give it a shot and see if I see any fuel squirting from the squirters. And if I don't see any fuel squirting, now I know, okay, the fuel bowl is empty. So what I'll do is, instead of cranking it, I'll just fill up fuel up through the vent hole and fill the bowl up, and now give it a shot. Now it has fuel for an accelerator pump to grab, so that it'll spark off a lot faster. It won't have to crank it as long to build the fuel pressure back up. That's just a little tip. I mean, the Holleys tend to have bigger fuel holes, and an accelerator pump sits on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that with those carburetors, and especially like I said, the bowls are big, and you can see sometimes you'll have a sight glass on the side, so you can still see if it's fuel in the bowls or not. Like I said, the Quads just don't have that feature, but like I said, same concept for the most part, but just a little different setup. And if you ever wonder why your car will crank so long before it starts, there's one way you can look at and see if you can diagnose that.